Hi and welcome to Children's Church. It's great to be able to worship together wherever you are this morning, whether you are here at Riverside House, maybe even in this very room, or whether you are worshipping in community groups, small groups, or however you're worshipping at home today. This morning is a special service as we are looking at race, not the race that you run, but we're looking at different cultures, the colours of our skin, and how much God loves each one of us and how we can love each other too. So as I said, I'm Melody, and in a moment I'm going to ask you to maybe introduce yourselves in your group, but we're also going to start with reading a really lovely book that I really like by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Rafael Lopez, and it's called The Day You Begin. So get comfy, and it's got some really lovely pictures. There will be times when you walk into a room and there is no one there quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. It's tricky to say that one. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Rigoberto from Venezuela. Your teacher says so soft and beautifully that your name and your homeland sound like flowers blooming, the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller. When the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer?" Tell the class your story. "We went to France," Shayla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells, so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untravelled hands. "My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina." Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey. Their travels going on and on. And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your day spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen to sleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. Even your own friend Nadja will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat in kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, then game isn't one you can ever really play. "I don't want him on our team." You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't know yet what you're ready for. There will be times when you walk into a room and there is no one quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent my whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class. Your voice is stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories. And even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Your name's like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in a room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make space for you. This is the day you begin to find places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not like you at all. Wow, I love that book. I think it's brilliant that we can share some things that are like other people, things we have in common, things that are the same, but also celebrate all of those things that are different too. So as you go around in your group in a minute, as there's a chance to pause, you can say your name and maybe something that makes you you. And we can all learn something new about each other. Maybe it's your favourite food, maybe it's something about your family, where you're from, or where you grew up. Maybe it's about your travels or the books you read. What makes you you? Tell us one thing right now.
So I've got Melody with me, which is really cool. We all love Melody. And Melody's going to help me demonstrate this game to you. So Melody, first of all, I need you to pick. Do you want to be green or red?
Oh, green.
Green, cool.
Thanks.
So you will need a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. So that's for you, Melody.
Thank you.
Now, what you need to do first of all is you need to fold your page into thirds. So you need 2/3 here and here. So this game works in stages, and after each stage you're going to pass your piece of paper to the person sitting next to you. So you might want to be doing this in a circle or in some sort of order. And the first thing that you need to do is, without letting anyone else see your drawing, in the top third of the page you are going to draw a head and a neck. Now it can be of a human, it can be an animal, it can be an alien, a robot, it can be whatever you like. And then make sure that you get your neckline just below the fold in the page. So shall we have a go with that, Melody?
Great.
Don't look at my piece of paper.
No,
I won't look at yours. Okay.
Don't look at mine. Okay.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Oh dear. Do the neck and then let the neck go just below the fold in the paper so that the next person can see where the neckline is. Okay, once you've done that, without letting the other person see, fold your piece of paper over so that you can just about see the bottom of the neckline. Then once you've done that, pass that to the person next to you. I'm not going to look, I'm not going to look, I'm not going to look.
Okay.
Okay, and now you have to carry on in the next third. So you're going to draw the torso and the arms. And then remember, leave a little bit just where the waistline is, so that you can see for the final third.
So the body.
The body
bit.
and the arms. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay. Mine is a bit weird.
Oh, intriguing. Intriguing.
So once you've done that, fold over your piece of paper again.
Okay.
Fold it over. Make sure you can see the final 2 lines. Then pass it over. Thank you very much.
Great.
And then finally, final section, you're going to draw the legs. Remember, go as creative as you like. Legs lining up with the waistline.
Okay.
And then, final stage, before you hand it back, is just underneath, or if you don't have space, then just next to it, you're going to come up with a name for this character.
Okay.
What name? I think this might be the hardest bit.
This is tricky. This is tricky.
My name's a little bit off the wall. It's a
Oh.
bit weird.
Okay.
Okay, and then, final time, pass the piece of paper back to the other person.
Ooh.
And then you're going to have a look at your your drawings and see what kind of characters you created. Da, 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 da.
This is wow.
I like this one. So this one is called Mr. Johnny G-ster. I like that name, it's a good name.
And what? This is called Sir Alfred Muck Risotto.
Yeah. Do you like the chicken legs?
I
Chicken
do.
feet?
I really like the ears.
Ears.
I think they've got nice piercings.
They look like donuts.
Yes. Tasty ears.
Tasty ears. So, why don't you have a go at that game now if you've not already done so. Take a pause and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for that, John. I hope you had lots of fun playing that game in your groups, or whether you had to go at home with family or friends. It's great as well to have Emily with us. Hello, Emily. We're really privileged to be able to have Emily with us this year, with me and John. You've probably seen her around. She's been here on Sundays helping in groups as well, and at small groups on Wednesday nights. And today she's going to be reading our story. You might want to follow along if you've got it's the Beginner's Bible, isn't it? Yes, the Beginner's Bible on page 379. So great, let's listen closely. Thanks, Emily.
Today's story is the Good Samaritan in Luke 10 verse 25 to 37. One day, a lawyer put Jesus to the test. He said, "I know the law says to love God with all my heart and to love my neighbour as myself, but who is my neighbour?" Jesus told him this parable. A man was on his way to the city of Jericho. Some robbers beat him. They stole everything he had. The man was hurt. He needed help. Along came a priest. The priest saw the man, but he didn't help. Along came a helper in the temple. He saw the man, but did not stop. Along came a Samaritan man. When he saw the hurt man, he stopped. The Samaritan man cleaned up his wounds. He lifted the man onto his own donkey and took him down the road to an inn. They stayed at the inn. The Samaritan man took care of the hurt man all night long, said Jesus. In the morning, the Samaritan man gave the innkeeper 2 silver coins and said, "Take good care of him until I return." When Jesus finished the story, he asked, "Which one of the 3 men was the true neighbour?" The lawyer answered, "The one who took care of the hurt man." Jesus said, "Go and do as he did."
Thank you, Emily. That's a really great story that Jesus told about loving people who are different from us. The Samaritan was someone of a different race and culture, maybe even a different skin colour, somebody completely different that was unexpected, but God still loved and worked through and tells us to love as well. And maybe you might want to think about what that means to love people who are different from you. And you might want to think about, or maybe talk about in your groups, in a second now you have a chance to pause, whether you've been treated differently because of the way that you look or the colour of your skin. Or maybe even really honestly thinking about whether you look at people differently because of where they're from or how they look. And maybe talk about how you think God sees you and people who look different from you. So you have a chance to pause now, talk about those questions in a group, or think about them in your own home. It's great that the Bible tells us that we're each made in God's image. Each one of us are beautifully and wonderfully made. So I thought it'd be great to celebrate that this morning and make a really big picture. Maybe you could even make it as a collage. Maybe you could build it out of Lego or maybe you could just draw it or cut bits out of newspapers and make a big picture of God's family. Draw you on there as beautiful as you are, and your family, but also draw or create people who look different from you. Might be each other in the group this morning, might be other people at school, different people from different countries, because God has made each one of us to be part of his family, and he has created us each purposefully in his image, those who look like us and those who look different from us as well. So let's celebrate that this morning, drawing that, and once you've drawn it, why don't you say a prayer together, thanking God for creating us all differently, and that each one of us shows us something different about God. So why don't you ask God to open your eyes this week to be able to love those around us. I really enjoyed at the end of this book how it showed that sharing stories and making friends helps people to feel at home and a sense of belonging, especially if they're new or if they're feeling different from other people. So maybe this week you can have a go at making someone else feel at home, and share some stories of how you're similar and how you're different. So have a go now in this next chance to pause of creating a beautiful picture of God's family and praying together. We're kind of coming to the end of our session today, and so it'd be great to pray for each other in our groups, but there is one last book that I really love. There's some really great books out there thinking about race, and this is a lovely book, so you might have time for it now, or you might want to watch it at home. That's fine, or at Riverside House we have this copy as well, so you can have a little look. But this is by Lupita Nyong'o, and it's called Sulwe. Sulwe was born the colour of midnight. She looked nothing like her family, not even a little, not even at all. Mama was the colour of dawn, Baba the colour of dusk, and Mish, her sister, was the colour of high noon. Hardly anyone at school looked like Sulwe either. People gave her sister Mish pet names like Sunshine and Ray and Beauty. People gave Sulwe names like Blackie and Darky and Night. Sulwe felt hurt every time, so she hid away while her sister made lots of friends. Sulwe dreamed of being the same colour as her sister. She wanted real friends too. So she got the biggest eraser she could find and tried to rub off a layer or two of her darkness. That hurt! She crept into Mama's room and helped herself to her makeup. Oh no, she would hear about this from Mama. Sulwe decided to work from the inside out and only ate the lightest, brightest foods. With a stomachache, she went to bed early and turned to God for a miracle. Dear Lord, why do I look like midnight when my mother looks like dawn? Please make me as fair as the parents I'm from. I want to be beautiful, not just to pretend. I want to have daylight. I want to have friends. If you hear me, my Lord, and would like to comply, may I wake up as bright as the sun in the sky. Amen. When Mama came in to wake her for school the next morning, Sulwe rose to find not a trace of daylight in her midnight skin. Sulwe told Mama everything. Mama asked, "What is your name?" "Sulwe," she muttered. "What does it mean?" "Star," Sulwe whispered. Brightness is not in your skin, my love. Brightness is just who you are. As for beauty, Mama said, rubbing Sulwe's stomach the way she always did to comfort her, you are beautiful. Sulwe sighed. Well, you are beautiful to me, but you can't rely on what you look like to make you feel beautiful, my sweet. Real beauty comes from your mind and your heart. It begins with how you see yourself and not how others see you. Now, up you get and out you go. How could she, as dark as she was, have brightness in her? How could she have beauty when no one but her mother seemed to see it? How could she be a star? That night, a shooting star appeared at Sulwe's window. "The night sent me," the star said. "Come with me." Sulwe hopped onto the star and off they went. "Long ago, at the beginning of time," said the star, "there was night and day, and they were sisters. They loved each other very much, but people didn't treat the sisters the same. Lovely, nice, pretty. People gave day pet names like lovely, nice and pretty. People gave night names like scary and bad and ugly. She felt hurt every time. Well, night got fed up and walked right off the earth. The day stayed behind and enjoyed making everybody happy in the sun. But then day grew too long. Day began to really miss her sister. So did everybody else. There had to be a way to get her back. Day set off to find Night, and she did. "I miss you," said Day. "I miss you too," said Night. "But you don't know what it's like to be treated badly for being dark." "You're right, I don't," Day replied. "But what I do know is that we need you, just the way you are. Come and see." Night returned, and the people rejoiced. "We need the darkest night to get the deepest rest. We need you so that we can grow and dream and keep our secrets to ourselves." The stars chimed in. "Brightness isn't just for the daylight. Light comes in all colours, and some light can only be seen in the dark." While day had a golden glow, with night everything had a silver sheen, elegant and fine. Day told her, "Why, when you are darkest, is when you are most beautiful. It's when you are most you." Could it be that night did not need to change, not even a little, not even at all? Now that night and day were back together, a little bit of night returned to day in the form of shadows, and a little bit of day returned to night in the form of moonlight. They were inseparable from that moment on and promised to celebrate the brightness in each other, whether people chose to see it or not. "You see," the star explained, "we need them both on their sunniest day and their darkest night and every shade in between. Together they make the world we know, light and dark, strong and beautiful." Sulwe rose the next morning beaming. There would be no hiding anymore. She belonged out in the world, dark and beautiful, bright and strong. And if she ever needed a reminder of her brightness, she could look up at the sky on the darkest night to see for herself. Wow. Sulwe felt beautiful inside and out. This is just a beautiful book and a lovely story, and a reminder that God has made each of us and that He has made each of us beautiful, light and dark. Whatever our skin colour, inside and out, God has made us purposefully and beautifully, and we each need each other to actually truly be God's family and to actually be in God's image. So go and get this book as well. It's a great book. There's some great books out there, and maybe think this week, whatever skin colour you are, how can you help other people feel beautiful in their skin?